Hi, I'm Jennifer from Shabby Fabrics. Today I have a really fun project for you using jelly rolls. It's the giant jelly roll tote bag, and who doesn't need another bag? This is the Welcome Home collection designed right here at Shabby Fabrics, our very first collection by Maywood Studio. And aren't these jelly rolls just beautiful? And we have a large array of them. If you've not been to the website, or maybe you've been there already, go to the home page, click on Fabrics, and then you'll come down to Pre-Cuts. And you'll have just a beautiful array of jelly rolls. So let me show you how quick and easy this is. It doesn't take that many jelly roll strips. So out of one jelly roll, you'll be able to make several bags. You'll be looking for the jelly roll tote bag as your free download. That's on the bottom of the Shabby Fabrics homepage. And if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, just do it because we're coming out with new projects for quilting, DIY, all the time. Once you print your 6 pages of the giant jelly roll tote, you'll want to go ahead, and everything is laid out explaining what you need to do, but we've ahead of time taped the pieces together, and we have the little darts. It'll just say page 5 of 6. Obviously you're going to attach everything, cut the pages out. You get the idea. Let's just move right into that project. You've probably taped plenty of pattern pieces together. So you have the main portion of the bag, which has the jelly roll strips, and then you have some sides. In fact, let me show you the architecture of the bag in general so that you know where we'll be going with it. So we'll first be dealing with the jelly roll strips, and we'll be adding some fusible fleece to that and quilting that. Then we'll be working with the sides, and inside the bag we have several pockets. We'll be working with that, and then we'll be putting those straps on there as well. So it's a pretty straightforward bag. Again, who doesn't need another bag, right? The gym, just stuff for the beach or a day trip, just 1,000 reasons. Pick your jelly roll strips and just recognize that how you lay them out is going to determine the flow of the color of the bag, of course. So we've picked our jelly roll strips ahead of time, and you'll simply take them to the sewing machine, and you're just going to sew them along the long edge all the way down. Next thing you'll do, let me show you what that looks like real quick. So we've done this, and I like to press the seams open. It just helps it lay a little flat. So that's all we've done. Next step is, because we want the bag to have a little oomph, we use a fusible fleece. So just pick up that, and you will iron that onto the back side of this. And that's the next step that I always enjoy, and we've done that ahead of time, is the quilting part. So we have went ahead and ironed the fusible fleece to the back. Now if you want to quilt your bag, and I definitely encourage you to, you could either just do an all over pattern or just simply sew 1/4 inch away from each of the seam lines, and that's a nice way to quilt it as well. Once you have that ready to go, you need to determine what the top and the bottom of your bag is. Now I want to point out something. Notice how the bag is wider, the jelly rolls are wider here than they are here. Because I want the blue on top, I will orient it such that that's how I want that. I want the blue on the top because this is the wider portion. So you'll just place this on the fold, pin, and then cut out. And same here, you'll just simply flip the template. You don't want to turn that around, okay? I want to point that out because this is placed on the fold. If you do that, the pink's going to be at the top. You'll have blue on the top here and pink on the top. So again, don't want you to mess that up. Proper orientation here for your paper template. When you get to that side, simply flip it over, and again, go ahead and cut those pieces out. And we've done that ahead of time, and that's what those look like right here. Now again, this is the bottom portion, the wider portion, and that's the upper portion. It's very easy to think, well yeah, a bag opens up like that, this is the bottom and that's the top. It's not, it's just the opposite. So let's put that aside for now. Notice our quilting on there. The side pieces, same story. You will get your side piece fabric, and we just kind of did a crosshatch quilting on that with the fusible fleece on the back. We had our template for our side pieces, and it's the same story. Once your fabric is laid out and quilted, you'll place this on the fold and then flip and place it on the fold. So those are out and ready to go, already cut out for us. Once you lay this out, again, this is our top. We will just lay the side on. Well, let me show you what the whole thing's going to look like here so you can see this. And of course, this would be coming again, and that's the back side of the bag. So we will just place that right side together. So 1/4 of an inch, right sides together, 1/4 of an inch, you're going to flip, and same thing. So 1/4 of an inch, bring that around 1/4 of an inch. So you'll kind of have a tube. Let me show you what that's going to look like. So that's what it looks like with those 4 pieces sewn together. Now the next thing we need to do is make our straps. Instructions for the length of the straps and the width are on the pattern. It's very straightforward though. We have our strip here. I'll just show you what that looked like before you'll join a couple pieces. You'll see the seam there. Press toward the middle, press in half, and then you'll sew on either side of that. And we've done those straps ahead of time. Now, and I've sewn about 1/4 of an inch. It just has a nice finished look. This is the top of the bag. This is our bottom. I'm going to lay that seam along that seam right there and pin. And I'm going to stop. Notice that line right there where we did our quilting? I'm going to stop right there. Because notice it doesn't go all the way to the top. It just seemed to work out a little bit better by not going all the way to the top. So we simply pin and sew. And I want to show you this step because I need to show you how to get this out of the way so that you can actually sew that. I don't want to skip that step because that was kind of like, how am I going to do that? How do I get that out of the way? Of course, I'd pin all the way down, but we'll just get this started. All right, so when I'm dealing with something like this, where obviously I can't just plow along here or I'll be sewing the front and the back of the bag together, you just kind of work it out. Sometimes sewing machines, you can remove this part of it. This is one of those types of times where it just kind of helps. There's just a place now for the fabric to be. So I just wanted to point out, and obviously I would sew, but you see how I just kind of manage the fabric, kind of pushing it out of the way as I go all the way down. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that just so you see the process. So just keep maneuvering things out of the way. Okay, I'm right over top of that. I'd normally have that pinned. Okay, and of course I would come back and sew along this side as well. Now one thing I want to point out, when you bring your strap over to the other side, make sure it doesn't have a twist in it. It'd be very easy to do this and you get a little twist in that. So you just want to make sure it doesn't have that twist. You'll come here and again, stopping right where that, whatever that distance is. You can either measure it with or just eyeball it, either way, but you do want them to be exactly the same. So you do that and get your handles onto your bag. We've done that ahead of time. The other thing that we went ahead and did is once the bag, we turned it right side out. We put the handles on. We turned it wrong side out and just simply sewed right across the bottom of 1/4 inch. So now the bag is ready to have the corners boxed. And that's what this is over in the corner. So if you've never done a box corner, it's no big deal. We need our little ruler for this. It's just ideal. I like to turn the bag so that I'm looking at the very bottom. So I want you to see how I kind of have this delta, this point, where that seam is running kind of right down the middle. And we're going to, let's just measure that. 3 inches is how we did our boxed corner. So you'll take your ruler. I want you to be able to see this. And when I say 3 inches, I'm meaning from point to point. So at the 1.5 inch mark, that's where your center seam should be. And it looks like I see it right there. You'll simply draw that line. A little bit tough to mark on this. There's a lot of bulk here. I like to pin it. Probably pin it again. And there's a lot of bulk going on in that point right there. So you want to lay that open. So let's take that to the sewing machine. It can be very bulky. You have to help it along sometimes over those bulky areas. Make sure that lays open. There we go. Sometimes a little bit of extra speed kind of helps it get over there. All right. And then when you box a corner, you simply then trim 1/4 inch away. And of course, I would do the same thing on the other side, which I've done ahead of time. So let me show you what that looks like. So our corners are boxed and are ready to go at this point. Now, we need to go ahead and take care of our lining and the pockets. So this is when you'll get your templates out for your pockets. Let's see, where is that on our paper? These are our pocket diagrams. So let's bring that out. Again, you would cut this out. In fact, I'll just fold this so you can see it. All right, that was like this. And we did 2 of those because there's a pocket on either side of the bag. Now, we're just going to go ahead and place those right sides together. And you'll just sew them up here and flip it. Don't sew along the sides. That's what we've done here. So again, sew here and sew 1/4 inch. Flip it till it's right side out. Now, with your other pattern page, the one that we used for the bag, in fact, let me get that pattern page. The pattern pieces we used before to cut the outside of the bag, we'll use those again for the lining. And that makes sense because you want the architecture and shape of the outside of the bag to match the inside. So we're going to use them again. And we used a nice, pretty pink shadow play. Again, one of the ones that coordinates with our collection. We cut 2 pieces out of the this main part and then 2 of the sides. So those are ready to go. Put those off to the side. And of course you made 2 pockets. You've got 2 pockets, so you have 2 of those units. I'll have those ready to go. What you will do with the pocket, again reminding yourself, and I had to keep reminding myself, that this is the bottom of the bag and that's the top. And here's our pocket. And again, where's the top and the bottom? Notice you can slide this up till it naturally just sits and the seams line up. That's where you want to take that. And you'll simply sew across the bottom here. You don't really need, well, I would pin it. I would pin it at this point and then just simply sew across the bottom, and you'll repeat that for your second strip, or your second section, I should say, your second part of your bag, your lining. Find where it sits, pin, sew across the bottom. Of course, that's where you want to put things in. You're not sewing along the sides just yet, but when you add your side pieces in, this is when that will happen. So remember, this is sewn across the bottom. We already did that. Open, open, and open. Now, make sure you're oriented properly. Yes. We'll pin this together like this. And that's when you'll catch that side seam and it'll close. So the only opening will be here for your pockets. So of course you'll do that here. Where's my orientation? Is that correct? Yes. So that here, 1/4 of an inch, open and open. You'll repeat the same step where you sew just across the bottom. And again, you'll line those up. And so again, you kind of have this tube, just like you did before with the main part of the bag. And then you'll want to go ahead and turn that. So this is what it looks like, right? There's your openings. And you'll want to head and box those corners. You would sew across the bottom, just like we did with the main bag, and box the corners. Same exact step. So now your lining is ready to go. Turn that to be right side out, and your bag will be wrong side out. So then you'll place this inside your bag, your main bag. Ouch, just poked myself on a pin that I think got left over in there. And you'll match your side seams and simply pin all the way around. Then you will go and sew all the way around, leaving an opening on the side. I think we've even done that ahead of time. We have. I'll take that out. There was a lining in there already. So we made sure we matched all the seams up, sewed all the way around, left an opening, and then you'll simply turn everything through. This is my favorite part. There we go. And then, of course, we'll just put the lining back inside that bag, smooth everything out. And now you've got that opening, of course. So when you have that, and if you've done any crafts, you'll know where I'm going with this. Simply turn that under 1/4 of an inch and press. Turn this under 1/4 of an inch and press. Pin those together. And then you can go around the very top, making sure everything is nice and smooth, and sew about 1/8 of an inch from the very edge, and then that will close. It just has a nice finished look, and that'll close that, so you don't have to whip stitch that closed by hand. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make a giant jelly roll tote from Shabby Fabrics.